What's up everyone, it's Tyranitar2 and welcome back to another Pokemon coverage and speculation video. Now a few days ago I did talk about this mysterious scan that appeared and we all thought that it would be ZYGARDE, but thinking outside of the box as well as talking to some of you guys opened up other possibilities, and my favorite out of all those possibilities is what I'm gonna explain in this video. Now, from the current progression of the Pokemon games, X and Y sequels should be next in line, so ZYGARDE would make perfect sense, but if you look carefully at the silhouette, the three glowing spots seem more like Kyurem's eyes and marking as depicted in the Black 2 and White 2 intro showcasing Black and White Kyurem. To explain the backstory, Zekrom, Reshiram, and Kyurem are all part of this original Pokemon known as the Original Dragon, and the three of them combined are based off the Tao trio. Long ago, that original dragon was tamed by two brothers until it was split in half to give each of the brothers equal power. But what not many people know is that when Zekrom and Reshiram were born from the original dragon, Kyurem was also born. When the dragon was split, Zekrom and Reshiram were taken out, leaving an empty body behind, which is Kyurem. Kyurem is like the Ghetto Mazo, the vessel that Zekrom and Reshiram need to be sealed in to revive the original dragon. And while the existence of the original dragon is confirmed, it still has yet to make an appearance in the game. One strong theory is that this silhouette is the original dragon revived. When Black 2 and White 2 came out, Kyurem took the spotlight as the strongest Pokemon. When fused with either Zekrom or Reshiram, it has a base stat total of 700, only being passed by Arceus. The only Pokemon that have since then surpassed Kyurem's fusion forms are Mega and Primal Pokemon, but even now, Kyurem is the second strongest permanent Pokemon, even though it's missing half of its power. In fact, if Kyurem got both Zekrom and Reshiram's powers back, it would probably be stronger than every Mega and Primal Pokemon out there without being one itself. And maybe that's the reason it's never happened. It would make the game even more unbalanced than Mega Rayquaza's existence, but maybe not. Think about Primal Reversion, a transformation induced by a piece of its original power. For the Primals of Hoenn, it's their respective blue and red orbs which contain their original power. If Kyurem was induced by its original power as well, wouldn't it be able to complete a Primal Reversion into the original dragon? Kyurem is the original dragon after all. When Black and White came out, I used to speculate on what the name of the original dragon could have been, and I came up with names like Zeragon, which is a combination of Reshiram and Zekrom, but it's very possible that the name of the original dragon is Kyurem. Before the events of Black and White, Zekrom and Reshiram went dormant after being restricted into the Light and Dark Stone, and maybe after all of these years, Kyurem can't handle its original power and can never turn back into its original form, just like Kyogre, Groudon, and Rayquaza, but it can most definitely still revert to that form temporarily if it received power from Zekrom and Reshiram's orbs. Stones. Since we know ZYGARDE is making an appearance in the same movie as this silhouette is, it would make sense if ZYGARDE is awoken after sensing the power of the original dragon, and the movie could be the fight between ZYGARDE and the original dragon. Maybe descendants from the brothers from 3,000 years ago want to reawaken their ancestors' power and ZYGARDE has to stop them, or maybe the original dragon is going on a rampage and Xerneas, Yveltal, and ZYGARDE have to stop it, but either way, it would make perfect sense. I mean, Hoopa Unbound's War of Legendaries wasn't enough of a threat to the Earth for ZYGARDE to awaken, and if ZYGARDE gets awoken in the next movie, then it has to be a power more threatening than that, like the original dragon. But then there's the age-old question, why? Why would the original dragon be introduced now over any other time? Black and White was the previous generation, and there's no way we'd be revisiting it so soon. And if Pokemon is using the movies to promote the games like they always do, it would make more sense for Volcanion to be the one wreaking havoc. But it could very well be the connection between the events of Black and White and the events of X and Y. Based off the timeline Matsumiya of Game Freak leaked, Black 2 and White 2 take place at the exact same time as X and Y. And while Black and White have a tale about the twin heroes' original dragon 3,000 years ago with surviving relics from that ancient kingdom still existing underwater, X and Y tells a tale about the ancient weapon being launched 3,000 years ago by AZ, who was the king of an ancient kingdom and led to the discovery of Mega Evolutions. Are the stories connected? Speculating, it seems like AZ's weapon was powered by Xerneas and Yveltal. Yveltal's power sucked the life out of the Pokemon in the Great War, and Xerneas revived to slow it back to life, as well as making both Floette and AZ unaging. When the original dragon was split, a war broke out between the descendants of the twin heroes, which led to Zekrom and Reshiram creating mass destruction in that unnamed region, ending the war. What if this war between the descendants of those two brothers was the Great War, and the destruction of the region wasn't caused by Zekrom and Reshiram clashing, but by the ancient weapon that instantly ended said war? Maybe AZ was one of the brothers that tamed the original dragon. Unova legends say that the original dragon split itself to give the brothers equal power, but that doesn't sound right, especially with Kyurem also being a part of that split. You may not remember, but when Black and White came out, they gave us a red herring where they misled us on the legend of the Tao Trio. The characters in the game told us that Kyurem came to Earth on an icy meteor and the place it crashed into was a giant chasm, and that Kyurem was the savage creature that took people and Pokemon back to its lair to eat them. But when Black 2 and White 2 came out, we learned all of that was wrong. Kyurem was there since the beginning, and it chose to live in the giant chasm after it was hit by a meteor. It may be this colossal legend, but it doesn't want to eat people and Pokemon. What it really wants is to reunite with truth or ideals, which is Zekrom and Reshiram. So in the same way, what if the legend of the original dragon being split is wrong? Does it make sense that the original dragon would just split itself, then live peacefully in the giant chasm? Or was it split by something, and being too weak hid in the giant chasm, hoping to reunite with truths or ideals to reunite with its original power? One of the legends the characters in Black and White talked about was that the twin heroes used the original dragon's power to create the Unova region, and that alone should show how powerful it can be. The original dragon would definitely be a bigger threat than Hoopa was to the world, and understanding that, what if the one that split the original dragon was ZYGARDE? If someone really used that power for destruction, it would be devastating to the world, which is why ZYGARDE, as the guardian of the earth, split it into Zekrom, Reshiram, and Kyurem, and fearing ZYGARDE, Kyurem hid in the giant chasm until it can reunite with its powers. Look back at the way this silhouette is depicted, as an evil, colossal, legendary rampaging in the storm. This is not how I'd see the Guardian of Earth depicted as. It would make more sense to be the original dragon on its rampage. I'm almost certain that ZYGARDE will show its ultimate form in the movie, but what I'm not certain of is that this is that ultimate form. It may be too much for ZYGARDE's secret form and the original dragon to be introduced in the same movie, but either way, this all comes together making perfect sense. Maybe the X and Y sequels won't be a cross between Kalos and Hoenn like we speculated, but actually a cross between Kalos and Unova. I'm gonna end my thoughts before I spill too much, but let your own thoughts flow in the comments below. Let me know your thoughts on the original dragon and ZYGARDE, as well as the history they may share and their new forms. But before I end, what I wanted to talk about was breaking down the potential of the original dragon and ZYGARDE's secret form. The original dragon. Now, since the speculation is that it will be reawakened as Kyurem's original form, we'll treat it as a primal reversion form. But how would Kyurem go about reverting? Kyogre and Groudon both needed the power in the blue and red orbs to go primal, so it would make sense if Kyurem needed the power of the Dark Stone and the Light Stone to go primal. If you don't know, the Dark Stone contains Zekrom and the Light Stone contains Reshiram, so if Kyurem had the combined power of these stones, it'd definitely be able to revert. But here's something. In the code of Pokemon Black and White is this. It looks the exact same as Zekrom's Dark Stone and Reshiram's Light Stone, except it's gray, as if it's a combination of both of them. This item still exists in the code of X, Y, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire, and is called the God Stone. If Kyurem were to hold the stone, it would be able to tap back into the powers of a god it once had and turn into the original dragon. It's not just called the Gray Stone, it's called the God Stone because it's the combined power of both Zekrom and Reshiram, the godly powers that were taken away from it. Considering Black and White Kyurem were Dragon Ice types, it's possible that the original dragon is an Ice Dragon as well, but it could also be a combined element of Fire, Ice, and Electric like a Dragon Steel type. Either way, its ability would probably boost the power of Ice, Fire, and Electric attacks. And then we have ZYGARDE's secret form, the form it takes when it releases its secret power. If that wasn't a given. Now, as the Guardian of Earth, you can expect it to have high stats, but not the most ultimate stats. I feel like ZYGARDE's power and ability to protect the Earth would come from its ability, which would reverse the type advantages when it's in battle. This means that ZYGARDE will always have the upper hand in any battle because no other Pokemon can fight well in the inverted reality that ZYGARDE can create. This also puts ZYGARDE in control of Xerneas and Yveltal, as its ground attacks would be super effective on Yveltal, and its dragon attacks would be super effective against Xerneas. But all in all, guys, this is just speculation. It very well may be just ZYGARDE transforming, then simply taking on Volcanion to promote the X and Y sequels next year. But just based off the connections in the history of the Kalos region, I feel like the original dragon really could be it. But Pokemon is starting to get a bit more creative, so I can definitely see them doing something like this. It makes perfect sense. Anyway, do it. If you're not gonna do it, Pokemon, I know you're watching, just do it. I've given you the entire plot, just do it. But pay me a few dollars. What do you want some too? By the way, guys, if you haven't done so yet, be sure to grab yourselves a Pico shirt. It's amazing that we've already passed our goal and over 500 of you guys have gotten your own shirt. And there's still a few more days left to grab one. You can click the link in the description to get one, but if you do grab one, be sure to tweet or send me an image of you wearing it. But anyways, guys, that's it for this episode. It's not an episode, it's a video. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the episode, which is a video, and let me know your thoughts on the original dragon and ZYGARDE, the history they share, and their new forms. I'm actually really interested in this entire conversation. I've been talking for like 30 minutes straight, so be sure to let me know your thoughts on that, and be sure to subscribe if you want to stay up to date on my future videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I bit my tongue, and now I can't talk. I'm like a little Frank, you know. How you going, hey, you know?